Hello, everybody. Welcome to Down the Line. I'm Nathaniel Dell. We have Mark Morrison today, who has been the general manager, CEO of New Enterprise Rural Electric Co-op for 3 years now. Mark, welcome to the program.
Hey, Nathaniel. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. Give me a little insight on your day-to-day operations. What you actually do at work every day.
Well, funny you ask. We're a real small co-op, and many of the co-ops work the same way. So the title on the door doesn't necessarily reflect what the daily operations are. I was asked that question in my interview. At the time, I was a CFO at another cooperative, and one of the committee members. So, what's a normal day look like? Well, the day before yesterday, I was doing finance stuff, and yesterday I was driving a forklift unloading a truck. So, pretty much whatever needs done gets done. And if you're the body available to do it, then that's how it rolls.
So, in your career, when you started, what kind of education did you have or receive to get to where you are today?
Well, high school, of course, and then I had a 4-year degree from, a 4-year college, a Bachelor of Science degree in finance. Was out of school probably 6 years until I started with the co-op in the cooperative program. So did a number of things before that, and only two related to my degree, and was actually hired as in the cooperative program as a staking engineer, which is totally unrelated from my degree, but saw this as an opportunity to finally or eventually get there. So was fortunate enough to get hired on at REA Energy Cooperative in Indiana, and as a staker, and the rest is history.
So really, your degree didn't have much bearing on your career path?
Not initially, no. Up until I started at the co-op, not really. And then even I started in the co-op program in 2000, and probably for the first 3 years, that degree, it didn't really. I don't want to say that it didn't matter, but it didn't apply my whole day. Until I started moving up, and it definitely helped me in with the ability to move up. But once I got in at the co-op, I didn't use it for a couple of years. Now, as time went on, it came back to me. So, and then of course, you have schooling throughout too. Like, one of the managers said, you're new, go to everything you can go to. And so I went to every school, whether I thought it mattered or not. Regulator schools, underground schools, things that the linemen typically go to. I was an engineer, and some of it applied, some of it didn't, but it all mattered in the end.
I do the same. I go to everything I possibly can.
I'll tell you what, being on this side of it, not from operations, being a general manager, I love that with when employees volunteer to go to things. Some things apply, some things don't. But man, if you have that want to in an employee, don't hold them back. Empower them to go where they want to go, and that it's so much better that way. It's better for the organization. It's better for them personally, and I encourage that, and we'll never turn that off from somebody.
Now, when you began your career after school, was CEO of a cooperative even part of your thoughts on where you'd end up?
No. I was just so thankful to be in the program. And I was out of my element, really. The guy that hired me for what he knew I could learn, not what I knew already. I remember, clear as day. He said, I want to hire you for this position. I said, I don't know anything about electricity. The only thing I know is that it hurts or kills you if you do something wrong. And he says, we'll teach you all that if you want to learn it. And so getting in where I did was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And I've carried that through my career with sitting in on interviews, hiring the next generation for this cooperative. You can't teach 1, 2, and if you have the personality and this place, and this could go for anywhere, anything anyone wants to do, if the place that you're interviewing for, or the career profession that you're pursuing saves your life, then you'll be just fine. That want to is, and that personality is a key trait that I look for.
I like it. In your life, has there been one moment, one decision you've made that you believe had the most impact on where you are today?
One decision. I would say it's probably an accumulation of decisions, and that, it's what we do is here, and I would guess professionally, everybody that spends a long time in one career and tries to make themselves better, the sacrifice of being away from home and, going to schools and things that are going to get you to where you want to go, that time away, from family and putting the family workload on one person, at home while you're away. I would say that was a team decision by, my wife and I, and to have that support and, really help that along. But yeah, just the drive to get better, and not everybody has to be CEO. Not everybody has to be a crew chief. But if you use that to get where you want to go, then you have a peace and a comfort that is not explainable. I remember a guy that I worked with at REA. He'd come up for crew chief. I don't know how many times. He was my parents' age, and he said, "I don't want it." He says, "I will be the best journeyman lineman that this place has ever seen." He says, "I don't want the stress and the responsibility of that job. I'm content where I'm at, and I'm the best at what I do." And a guy like that, that isn't the next in line, or that doesn't have the next in line mentality, I always respected that guy, because that job would have put him out of his comfort zone, and he recognized it. So decisions like that, the sacrifice and knowing where you want to go, that's probably the answer to that question. So.
Is there any one person you've met in your career that had a lot of influence on you, even a high school teacher, somebody you've met, a boss you've had, somebody that had a lot of influence on you that helped you become the person you are today?
I think your parents make you who you are, or at least are the first in I remember my dad. He was in the industry too. He worked for an IOU, and I remember him going away on those storms, and it it wasn't for the money. Money was great. I remember him saying, but he was a do-gooder, and so that kind of was the foundation or the keystone. Professionally, I would say, and this didn't happen until years into my career, but different CEOs, and I guess watching them deal with adversity and deal with the business that they ran, and the methodical approaches that they handled day to day operations and things that just popped up. Probably a big influence in learning how to, learning how to think, or learning how to step back and not do the knee-jerk right now thing. Just step back. Let's look at this. Where do we want to go? And what works best. Is everything perfect? No way. But if that's probably been the biggest professional influences, other CEOs, and how they analyze and keep that goal line in focus.
It's very hard to alter your thought process by observing others. It is, but that's
we're not programmed that way.
No, but it's something you learn. It's something you can't be taught. You kind of draw that out on your own. I agree. It does help to be able to see through others' eyes, and it is very very difficult to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. So much of our life is the other way, where that, and even generationally, I look at my family, and it's like, well, hey, let's just go get this. Like, well, no, let's step back a little bit, and the younger generation seems to want. I feel funny even saying that because I'm not that old, but so much of our lives is a knee-jerk purchase or a knee-jerk decision to do something, and professionally, that isn't always the best way to go. So you're right. You have to be aware of it and recognize it when you see it.
So, being in a management position, what is your take on the word respect?
Respect has to be earned, but you also have to be someone that can be respected. I've seen folks that have been managed into the ground. From a business standpoint, a person like that, if you have someone that has that want to and that drive, let them go. If you do that, the bond and the respect that you have for each other is going to grow exponentially. So it's a two-way street. You can't command it without giving it to. So I don't know if that helps you.
Well, everybody I talk to has a different take on it. It seems to land about the same place, where you just don't get to pick it up off somebody's desk or demand it because you've got tenure or experience. I agree with everyone I've spoken to so far that says it has to be earned, that it just can't be given. So
yeah. On both sides of the equation, it has to be earned. I mean, I agree with you.
So, do you have anything? Is there anything that maybe I've missed, or anything you have in mind that you would like to share with with newcomers to our industry that are up and coming, or maybe they want to get into our industry, they want to become an alignment, or they might want to become a meter technician or a line staker. Is there anything you'd like to share that might, a little insight for them?
Boy, just thinking back, it's with my take from the line. I was never a lineman. Been on storm work and been with doing line work with with guys out there in the storm. It's just the way it goes. When the chips are down, I mean, everybody does what they got to do to get it back, get the power back on. In all my experience with that, money has never been the motivator. Is this a great industry where you can make piles of money? Yes. If that's your driver, though, boy, I'm not sure how it's going to go. This is an unforgiving profession. If you're not the best, then you could die, or you could kill somebody else. You have to live this industry. Whether it's where I'm sitting right now, or whether it's you guys out on the line. The decisions that are made, people's lives are on the line. So I think over the years, I think I've noticed that the same old line. You miss Christmases, you miss birthdays, and all of that's cliche, but all of that's true. And if money's the motivator for that, then man, there's the potential for making bad decisions, I think, increases. Maybe that's too broad of a brush to paint with, but there's heart, a lot of heart in this industry, and I've seen a lot of heart in the guys that I've worked with over the years to do the right thing. Even if it took an extra day till we got it on and it was right, everybody went home, to their family in the same condition. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the right answer or not, but man, that's how I feel. And it's a profession where you got to have that one too. Whether you're sitting in my desk or whether you're setting poles every day, you got to want to do it. There's no room for error.
I like it, Mark. I really do. A lot of times we forget in our industry, there becomes a separation between management and the employees. There becomes a separation between IOUs and contractors and co-ops. And I think sometimes we forget that they're actual real people sitting behind desks, sitting in the bucket truck, sitting in the pickup, staking line. They're real people. And I think what makes real people is the things they do to relieve their stress, that makes them the kind of person they are. If you don't mind, Mark, what kind of hobbies do you do in your spare time? What do you do that consumes a lot of your time that you enjoy?
I appreciate this question because, man, you're right. Especially when you start somewhere new, everybody's nervous about what they're getting, when I walked in as a staker, well, who's this kid coming in? And that human element goes away, or has to be reeled back in, I guess. So thanks for the question. When I walked into New Enterprise here, we're a small bunch. We got, half a dozen linemen, so, everybody does a little bit of everything. So the first day I walked in on my own in the back, everyone was quiet. I don't even know if everybody looked up to see the door open. And I said, well, guys, I said, here it is. I said, trucks are GMC, snowmobiles are Polaris, quads are Honda, and guns are Winchester. What else do you want to know? And that was it. That was all it took to break that ice. So we're a power sports family. We like to snowmobile and quad ride. Of course, the outdoor stuff, hunting and fishing, and, there's a lot to do out there. So probably my biggest thing to do, dabbled in drag racing a bit back in the day. Now that my kids are getting older, kind of getting back in that game. So mostly outdoor stuff. Thanks again for the question, because that is true. We seem like we get locked in our bubble at work, and we're all here for a reason, and that's a family at home, and to spend as much time with them as we can and do as many things with them as we can.
Our passion, I believe, is what drives us at work. That's why we go to work. I don't think anybody really just goes to work because they have nothing better to do. I mean, I have a lot of things I'd rather do than be at work, but I go to work because I enjoy my job and I have things I want to do at home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and when on that note though, and I mean in this job, when the phone rings, somebody goes. They don't have to, but somebody always goes, and somebody always goes to help the people that need help when that phone rings. And I think that's what I like about it. There's a willingness to do good, and it's never too much to go help someone else that needs help.
So, do you have any questions for me, Mark?
No. How's the channel? Well, I guess I do. How's the channel going so far? And do you have any stories of folks that have watched the channel and it's made a difference for them somehow?
Not yet, but I'm getting a lot of great input. You were one of the first ones that seemed really excited about what I'm doing. And it's slowly starting to spread. I'm getting quite the following of linemen from different places, some linemen I've never met. And I've received some emails. Some good, some bad. Some people didn't believe that I was a lineman. And some people weren't quite sure what I was trying to do with my channel. I had one gentleman who contacted me and asked me if this was for real or if I was just trying to back him into a corner. So, I guess not yet. It's still very, very young in its infancy, but I'm doing my best. I've made some contacts with some industry, I don't know what you want to say, contractors that are building machines that are up and coming, and they're going to come bring some of their machines here for me to demo. So I think I'm doing just about as I could for only being out there for about a month. But as changing anybody, I don't know yet. But I welcome it. I mean, that's what this is all for. This is all for informing, trying to share a little bit of what our industry is, not what's out there. What's out there is just the extreme bad things that have happened, and what's out there is silly videos on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I guess I'm trying to take a more serious approach at it and show exactly what this is. Like a lot of the things you said, I agree with. That you have to have that want to, that you have to have a drive, you have to have the want to do better, to be a good person. And I think that's more of what it's all about. It's not about the money. Nobody ever got rich from going to work. So I agree, and I think your thought process is right on track with mine for the reasons I'm doing this. But I don't think I've changed anybody's life yet. But if one video changes somebody's outlook, then that's all I did it for.
Yeah, that's spot on. I think there's a certain work ethic that goes along with this job and for this industry, and it's hard to find, getting harder to find. I think it's out there. The other thing is with up and up and coming, high schoolers or folks anywhere along the way, if they're called to it, it's a great career, and chances are that they just need to know what's out there and know how to get where they want to go. So it's a great industry, a great career choice for somebody, and where there's case in point, the growth potential is exactly what you want it to be. So I think you're on track. So.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Mark. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the call, and hope it helps. If you need anything else, give me a call back, and I'd love to see good people doing good things in our industry.
Boy, Mark Morrison, what a great guy. Very intellectual character. Seems to know his stuff. Really happy about where he is in life. I love it. He's a fan of power sports and motorsports. I love drag racing. I have a drag car. It's great to have some things in common with other people in the industry. Just to remind you, your CEO is just not a guy behind a desk. He doesn't shut off at quitting time. He's a person too. Just like your linemen, your secretaries, everybody has a life outside of work. Try to appreciate your coworkers' passions. You don't have to enjoy the same things they do to appreciate their passion. He touched on the want to fact. The guys that want to work, I want to climb that ladder. I love it. I've never heard it put that way, and he chose those words great. Want to, you got to have the want to. I always just thought of it as the desire to do your best. You should always try to do your best. You can't do somebody else's best, and you can always do less, but you should always try to do your best. I want to thank Mark for his time. It was a great interview. I hope to speak to him again in the future about some other things. If any of my subscribers or my watchers have any questions, any comments, anything you want to see, anything you want to hear, answers you need, drop me an email, nddowntheline@gmail.com. Drop me a comment in the comments box. I strive, my whole purpose is to educate and inform. A little bit of comedy here and there, but I want guys out there to know what they need to know. I want them to have the education they need. So drop me a line, nddowntheline@gmail.com. Leave a comment in the comments box. Don't forget, everybody, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll see you down the line.